And it's a very open affair indeed. At least 7 horses given a good chance in the race. Very hot here at Flemington, around the 33-degree mark. A light northerly blowing across the track at the moment. And this will certainly not disadvantage horses drawn wide in the 2 straight races later on today if it keeps up this way. But there's a lot of time to go by, and we'll keep you posted on that. Now, Stop and Think goes in riderless near the 900-metre mark on the steeplechase track. And the field is ready. Rider settling himself, Bill Londrigan in the saddle. And they're all set for a start. Lights on. Racing at the first attempt, jumped away pretty well. Apeo wasn't anxious to go, and Mount Visco dropped out to the rear with it, and in front of them Sing for Supper. Nornim led as they went to the first narrowly from Waikato King and Waltz Boy, and also up there Arcalet and then Mr. Soteria. A length to Wainui as they come to the second fence now. Stop and Think getting up on the fence from Sing for Supper, Caribou King. And about 4 lengths to Mount Visco and Apeo together in last placing. Waikato King's in front over that one on the inside, very narrowly from Mr. Soteria. Stop and Think going up on the inside now after this leader, but hit it hard. They were followed very closely by Wainui, Nornim out wide, and a length further back is Arcalet. They're followed by Sing for Supper and Waltz Boy over the next, and they're pretty well bunched. About 10 lengths to Caribou King and another 4 to Mount Visco, and last is Apeo. Over the next in the lane, and the leader here was Mr. Soteria on the outside, just in front now from Waikato King, and a length. Stop and Think coming to the third in the last in the straight. Waikato King out jumped Mr. Soteria there, and there's a fall. Wainui has gone. Wainui has gone at that one. The field have gone over the boy. He's a couple of them hit him, but he sits up. And they swing out of the straight. Waikato King now and Mr. Soteria together going to the Maribyrnong fences. 1 to Stop and Think, and then 2 lengths to Nornim to the first of these. Then a length to Sing for Supper from Arcalet, 3 to Waltz Boy. About 20 lengths away is Master Visco. They've got right out of it, these horses, followed behind it Apeo and Caribou King last. Over the next one, and Stop and Think went up on the inside to join Waikato King. I've never seen him jump better, Waikato King. On the outside, Mr. Soteria. Then 2 to Nornim, a length Sing for Supper, 3 to Arcalet, 3 to Waltz Boy. And they're followed about 10 or 15 lengths away to Mount Visco over the next one. 2 to Apeo and 6 to Caribou King. Apeo nearly sold out there. Going to the 1400-metre mark now and about to go out across the course proper to the Abattoirs treble. And Waikato King, he's bowling along like a 2-year-old. A length to Stop and Think. A length further back is Sing for Supper now going very quickly round the outside. And Mr. Soteria the centre, and then 2 lengths to Nornim as they went to the first of the Abattoirs treble. And again, Waikato King out-jumped them. As they go to the second of them now, and it's Waikato King about 2.5 lengths. Mr. Soteria went up second again from Stop and Think. Sing for Supper with a bad leap, dropped back to 4th. Nornim stopped altogether at the head of the others from Arcalet running on. Mount Visco starting to make ground, but he's given them a tremendous start, and the rest aren't in the race. The leader coming down to about the 4th last, Waikato King, the riderless Wainui on his outside, making him race. There's about 4 lengths in front, actually, from Stop and Think, Mr. Soteria and Sing for Supper. And 3 lengths away came Arcalet, still running on from Mount Visco, and forget the rest. Waikato King's about 4 lengths in front with 2 to jump. Coming to the second last, he's about 4 to Stop and Think. 3 away is Sing for Supper. Arcalet and Mount Visco both running on fairly as they got over the second last. And coming down into the straight with 1 to jump, Waikato King 6 lengths now to Stop and Think. Third is Arcalet. He's the danger. He's running on well. Mount Visco almost went out into the car park. They turn down now with 1 to jump at the 400. Waikato King about 4 lengths in front of Stop and Think and Arcalet. And 4 or 5 to Mount Visco at the head of the others. Over the last, Waikato King landed 4 or 5 in front of Arcalet, battling on from Stop and Think. Mount Visco out in the centre of the track is next, but Waikato King going to win it easily. The riderless Wainui keeping him going, might even beat him home, but there's no rider there, and Waikato King kept going, will win by about 8 lengths. Good battle for the miners. Mount Visco's going to get up and run second. Decent sort of a run hit. Close go for third placing here. Stop and Think will just outplug Arcalet for third. They were followed then by Waltz Boy, Sing for Supper, Mr. Soteria, and then Apeo, and a long gap to Nornim, who's last. And one just coming round the home turn now is Caribou King. Well, even when they'd gone 300 or 400 metres, I must confess that I'd never seen Waikato King race as keenly as he was racing. And he gave a great exhibition. Jumped beautifully throughout. He usually puts in a couple of lousy jumps in a race, but he didn't today. It was magnificent exhibition. Number 2, Waikato King, ridden by D. Cannon first. Number 4 is second, Mount Visco, P. O'Brien, a decent sort of a run. And the third, number 1, Stop and Think, ridden by W. Londrigan, 2, 4 and 1. Waikato King is part owned by Mr. Clark Shields, with whom I have the honour of serving on the Echo Committee, the holidays for elderly citizens, and good luck to Clark. Racing it in partnership with him is Mr. M.J. McWhinney, trained by Kelvin Burke up at Colac and very confidently handled by D. Cannon.
Back in a moment, Bill.
Should pay $3.95 and $1.20. Number 4, Mount Visco, $1. And number 1, third, Stop and Think, 80 cents.
80 cents. First Quinella paid $13.65 and the trifecta $124 even. 2 Waikato King $3.95 and $1.20. 4 Mount Visco $1. 1 Stop and Think 80 cents. Quinella $13.65. Trifecta $124 even. Wainui is.
They're settling in the stalls and the lights on, ready to go. Racing. Oh, caught them in a good line too. Near the inside, Camdana Quest well away. Findillian balked just after the start and dropped out to the rear with Concord and Cathcart Lass. Great battle going on early. Camdana Quest and now Piara racing around the outside to go up and join it for the lead with Violet Girl. They're a length and a half to Concord, continuing that run right around the field from Carriere. Back with those horses then would be Reno's Best, and on the inside Wishing Free and Parade of Stars from Way. Whispering Spring is well back in the field towards the rear with All Flower and Findillian last. Down to the 800, Violet Girl is going full pelt in front, about a neck Piara, 3 parts to Cathcart Lass, 1 to Camdana Quest settling 4th. Then Carriere the outside, Wishing Free looking for a run over on the inside of a pack of horses. Concord can't get on the track from Timid Miss. They're followed further back then by Way, Parade of Stars working to the outside, and then All Flower behind them from Whispering Spring and Findillian. In the straight, Violet Girl joined by Piara at the 400, a length and a half to Cathcart Lass. Wishing Free trying to sneak up along the inside, and Camdana Quest under pressure. Wider out, Parade of Stars is under the whip, and Way trying to find somewhere to go from Findillian. Violet Girl, Piara, now Wishing Free getting up inside. The pair of them has dashed to the lead. It looked well on the way to the post, and it's too good for them, Wishing Free. All Flowers running into second place, but Wishing Free wins by 2 lengths. Second is All Flower. Third, very close, Parade of Stars, the outside, or Piara, and Findillian flashing home in the centre just behind them. Next, Camdana Quest, followed by Carriere. Violet Girl stopped badly from Reno's Best Way. Then came Whispering Spring with Cathcart Lass, Timid Miss, and Concord was a distant last. Well, it was one of the 2 that caught my eye on the way to the barrier, Whispering Free, or Wishing Free rather, and Parade of Stars, and Wishing Free with a magnificent ride there by Mick Dittman. He's got up on the rails everywhere, has scored. Number 4, Wishing Free, L. Dittman first. Number 15, All Flower, rattled home for second. And very close photo for third, with Parade of Stars coming home fairly well on the outside, although it was a little disappointing. It just struggled really in the last 150 metres with Piara on the rails. And Findillian, I think, has just missed the place in the centre. It was a good run because it balked just after the start and dropped straight out of it to last. Third placing up now to 11, Parade of Stars, so it's 4, 15 and 11 in the Labor Day handicap. Wishing Free is by Hallpack from Lucky Wish, raced by Mr. M.A.R.H. Omsacourt, trained by Jeff Murphy at Caulfield and ridden by Mick Dittman. Wishing Free should pay $4.20 and $1.35. Second, number 15, and that is All Flowers, $6.35. And the third, number 11, Parade of Stars, should pay $1. Time was 1:24.6, so they certainly hiked. Findillian's run 4th and Piara 5th. They were both pretty good runs in the race. So Concord, drawn wide, always off the track. Way didn't have any luck in running. Carriere was up there for a while. Piara mentioned a nice run. Violet Girl, they went pretty hard and she tired very quickly. Whispering Spring never in it. Cathcart Lass got up there after being trapped wide for a long way. Timid Miss never really in the race. And All Flower ran on pretty well at the finish, and that's about all we can say. No openers for the next.
35 for the place. Second, 15, All Flower, $6.35. Third, number 11, Parade of Stars, paid $1. The Quinella returned $171.50, $171.50. for the Quinella as we stand by for the trifecta. 4 Wishing Free, 420, 135, 15 All Flower, 635, 11 Parade of Stars, $1. The Quinella paid $171.50.
Jumper Gunbower.
Size Produce Stakes, number 1 Acumen, 65 cents and 50. 2 True Version, 5.50.
Meanwhile, South Australian 2-year-old New Atlantis today won the 1985 Black Opal Stakes in Canberra and in doing so set a new class record. New Atlantis, starting at 7-2 on, made it 6 wins from 6 starts, winning in a time of 1 minute, 10.7 seconds, beating the previous record held by Brummel Who. Here are the closing stages of today's race.
But around the home turn in the Black Oval, Wimsali is the leader, taken on now by New Atlantis on the outside. Back behind those Crossroads, followed then by Cannylass on the inside, and then Dream Lodge with about 200 to go. The favourite driven to the lead now. New Atlantis races to the lead. Wimsali second, followed by Crossroads running on fairly well, and then Dream Lodge. But the favourite New Atlantis races away to win the Black Oval. New Atlantis first, Crossroads second, Dream Lodge third.
1983 champions India.
Field settling in the stalls. An attendant climbing in with one of the runners. True Version it is. Settling, lights on. Away they go. Chic Prince jumped in the air, lost about 2 lengths. True Version was first out from Insatiate. They were followed by Eminency and Rajput the outside. Behind them then came on the inside Jackson Square. Now Acumen's back second last and Chic Prince is last when they settled down. As they went towards the 1,000, and the leader is True Version, 1.5 lengths to Eminency on the outside of Insatiate, 1.5 lengths then to Enchanteur, and getting up on the rails Jackson Square, 1 length then to Rajput, 3 parts to Acumen, and 1.5 lengths Chic Prince. Well, Hall trying to hold True Version. He probably began too well for him, and going to the 800, it's 1 length to Eminency. Now, where's Acumen? He's giving them both about 4 lengths at the 800. In third placing is Insatiate, and they're followed by Jackson Square on the inside of Enchanteur. Acumen now 1 off the fence from Rajput and Chic Prince last. 600 out on the corner. True Version about a 1/2 length now to Eminency the outside, and they're 1.5 lengths to Jackson Square, trying to get up on the inside as they turn for home. With Insatiate, Acumen about 2 lengths away from Enchanteur. True Version and Eminency, they've come well away from the rails. Acumen's not responding at the moment, and at the 300, True Version and Eminency drew 2 lengths to Insatiate. Then came Jackson Square, and Acumen's under the whip. True Version kicked away. He raced away in the sires now from Eminency. Acumen's not in the race, and True Version's going to lead all the way, and he's putting a space in them. And down to the line, and it's True Version by 3 lengths. Jackson Square, a mighty run from the little fellow second. Eminency probably third, and a nose away fourth Acumen. 3 lengths then to Enchanteur, followed by Insatiate, then Chic Prince, and last home is Rajput. Well, quite a few of us have got a pretty big opinion of True Version, but I don't suppose there's many of us expected the sires would be run that way, and he'd be in front all the way, and then draw away to an easy win. Number 2, True Version, ridden by Greg Hall, was first. Number 2, True Version, Greg Hall first. Photo for the minors. Little Jackson Square's persevered on the inside, and it's run second. Number 4, Jackson Square. And very close it'll be for third between Eminency and Acumen, who tried to get between the other two on the line. Jackson Square and Eminency, and I think Eminency might have just sneaked into third placing. Very, very close. Nothing in it. They've run 1:25.4 for the sires. 1 minute 25.4 seconds, and the winner, True Version, by Bletchingley from Fiction Star, raced by Sandown Lodge Proprietary Limited, manager Angus Armanasco, who was also the trainer, and ridden by Greg Hall, one of the most underrated jockeys in the land, I feel. Third placing has gone to Eminency, number 3, so it's 2, 4 and 3. Second, Jackson Square by Biscay from Red Rebecca. Well, I mentioned before the race is not very big, but by gee, it's got plenty of courage. It was a training Quinella to Angus Armanasco. Pat Highland was the jockey. And third, number 3, Eminency by Vice Regal from Dark Isa, trained by Tommy Smith, ridden by Mick Dittman. And Acumen, disappointing fourth in the race, and you never really wanted to be on him. The totes on the race, number 1, True Version, 280 and 60. Number 4, Jackson Square, 95. And number 3, Eminency, 70 cents. Acumen was officially fourth, and the fifth was Insatiate. Plate adjusted after the front one was fixed, and they're all in the stalls now. Lights on, they're racing. And slowly away was Bandy Legs, and Fast and Furious didn't get away too well, and Noble Vintage bounced out in front and was the leader from Close Conflict as they settled down into stride. Then Jungle Habit and Howitzer the rails. A length Bogan Lord, and they were followed then by Copper Rocket racing around the outside. Roskill Prince next, and they were followed then over on the inside by Jazur. Bandy Legs on the outside of the next bunch from Fast and Furious. They were followed just on the outside of them by Cash Pack. 2 or 3 lengths then to Niako Fair, who's well back in the field when they settled down. As they came towards the 800, Copper Rocket fighting for his head, about a half-length Noble Vintage, a length to Close Conflict. They were followed a length to Bogan Lord and Howitzer on the inside of that bunch of horses. Roskill Prince is just behind them, and then Jazur the rails. Fast and Furious gradually making ground. Jungle Habit still there on the outside. And wider out, Bandy Legs. Cash Back past the baton is well back in the field with Niako Fair and Keepers. In the straight, Noble Vintage and Copper Rocket, a length to Close Conflict, 2 lengths to Fast and Furious and Howitzer. They were followed by Bogan Lord, but at the 200, Copper Rocket and Noble Vintage going stride for stride from Close Conflict. The others aren't doing a lot, headed by Fast and Furious and Howitzer. It's Copper Rocket getting to the lead. Fast and Furious and Close Conflict are coming at it. Copper Rocket just in front near the line. He's stopping. Copper Rocket ahead in front of Close Conflict, and he's won. Copper Rocket a half head to Close Conflict. Maybe Fast and Furious third. Niako Fair rattled home next from Howitzer and then past the baton, made up good ground. Long Gap, Noble Vintage, Jazur, and they were followed by Keepers. Next is at the head of the others, Roskill Prince with Bogan Lord, who dropped right out of it. Sterling Taros. Bandy Legs, one of the last home. With it was Jungle Habit and Cashback. Judges call for a photo. Copper Rocket will last to win by a whisker, the South Australian. A whisker he'll get there from Close Conflict, who was one of the extreme outsiders of the field. And Fast and Furious probably third on the outside. He lost his chance at the start. He got a long way back. Knuckled down pretty well, but couldn't get to the leaders. 1:23.9 is the time. The judge having called for the photo, and I fancy Copper Rocket has just lasted to beat Close Conflict. Number 2's in the frame, and it's Copper Rocket, ridden by P. Shepherd. Peter Shepherd on number 2. Copper Rocket has got the money in the Florsheim Leonard handicap in a photo. From number 11, Close Conflict, R. Heffernan. And third, number 4, Fast and Furious, ridden by Mick Dittman, 2:11.4. Copper Rocket firmed considerably. He was very well backed in the race. He's come in to pay $2.10 a win at 85 a place. Second, number 11, Close Conflict, $7.10. And third, 4, Fast and Furious, 75 cents. The winner, Copper Rocket, by Habeas Corpus from Copper Wire, raced by Mel Brown, trained by Johnny Hawks at Morfettville and ridden by Peter Shepherd in good style. He got the utmost out of him. It looked as though they might grab him close to the line, but he fought back well. Second, Close Conflict would have been an enormous upset if it had got the money, because it was 87-1 on the tote. And it was ridden by R. Heffernan. And third, number 4, Fast and Furious, didn't jump well and has given them a big start. Keepers did nothing. Past the baton ran home pretty well, and so did Niako Fair, rattled home along the rails. Bogan Lord usually goes well here, but ran a poor race today. Howitzer was always up there. He's run 5th in the race. Noble Vintage speed, but dropped out of it. And that's about all we can say in the Florsheim Leonard handicap. They ran 1:23.9. The numbers were 2, 11.
Furious, 75 cents. Quinella paid $103.35, $103.35, and the remaining program has been put back 10 minutes. Remaining races have all been put back 10 minutes at Flemington. The trifecta has paid a dividend of $654 even, $654 even for the trifecta. Extra double on 4 and 2, $29.15 for Wishing Free, Copper Rocket. First leg sub was 7 Violet Girl, none required in the second leg. 210, 85 Copper Rocket, 710 Close Conflict, 75 Fast and Furious, Quinella, 103.35, trifecta, $654 even. and the extra double 4 Wishing Free, 2 Copper Rocket, 29.15. Only sub required in the first leg, 7 Violet Girl. As for Ampol, now we
said Cook Kia Mare, and the field is set in the Australian Cup. They're ready to go. Kia Mare sitting back a little, and an attendant going in to push him forward, and another one with Clovelly Bay. Oh, and Follow the Light rearing very high on the inside, settles, and away they go, and caught them well. Follow the Light first out from Noble Peer, Afghan's Idol, Bin Binga, Splendid Melody. They're followed by I Will, Bounty Hustler on the outside, and also Anchor in that bunch of horses. They were followed a little further back. Kia Mare still trapped wide from Pochinella, and then Clovelly Bay. It's back towards the rear, but back behind it again are Astralin and also Affinity and Nicholas John. At the 1600, and Afghan's Idol, the leader. Bounty Hustler now heads it off. 1.5 lengths Noble Peer on the inside of Bin Binga. They were followed 2 lengths to Follow the Light, tucked away on the inside, and 1 sprinting round the outside, Splendid Melody. Next, Kia Mare trapped wide and inclined to pull a little now from Follow the Light. Then Pochinella, a length further back in the field came Clovelly Bay, inside I Will, and now Anchor trapped 3 deep. They were followed 1.5 lengths further back, Nicholas John from Astralin, and Affinity is Stone Motherless. At the 1100, and Bounty Hustler trying to slow them up now. 1 length to Afghan's Idol, 1.5 lengths Splendid Melody, and Noble Peer with the run of the race today. 1 length to Bin Binga, a half Follow the Light, 1.5 lengths Kia Mare trapped 3 deep from Pochinella. Over on the rails, Clovelly Bay, 1 length to Anchor and I Will, 1.5 lengths Nicholas John Astralin, and still last Affinity. 800 out, 20 lengths covered them, and the leader Bounty Hustler, a half length to Afghan's Idol. 1.5 Noble Peer in the box seat on the inside and travelling well from Splendid Melody. He's out on Noble Peer, he's off on it now. Then Bin Binga shoved off the track, and they were followed by on the inside Follow the Light looking for the run. Into the straight, and Noble Peer's quickly grabbed the lead. He's got a big hold on it, led 1.5 lengths. Follow the Light getting out and wider out on the track now. Bin Binga and Anchor, and wider out again is Astralin from I Will. But Noble Peer in front, Follow the Light moving to second from Afghan's Idol, followed by Clovelly Bay running on, and Anchor a wider out with Pochinella and Astralin. But this is a different horse today. Noble Peer shot 3 lengths in front with 100 metres to go, and he's going to have no trouble winning. Anchor are running on well with Astralin, but Noble Peer canters to the line in front of Astralin. So third placing Anchor, ahead away Follow the Light, and then Affinity. Didn't get warm. A long gap further back, Afghan's Idol from Nicholas John, Bin Binga. Kia Mare was never on the track from Pochinella, Clovelly Bay. I Will, a shocker near the rear of the field, and back with its Splendid Melody and Bounty Hustler. Yes, he was a different horse today to the one we saw run at Caulfield. He is supposed to have struck a bit of shifty ground near the turn and got rid of a lot of shifty punters' tickets at that stage, because he was a hot favourite at Caulfield. Failed to run a place, but today always in the box seat, always looked the winner. And White made no bones about it. He shoved one out of the way, Splendid Melody, at the 700 metre mark. He'd been tracking the leaders in third place. He shoved Splendid Melody out of the way and cantered up to the lead, and it was a procession from then on. Number 11 is the winner, Noble Peer, ridden by H. White. Number 4 is second, Astralin, R. Heffernan. And number 7 is third, Anchor, ridden by R. Melian, 11, 4 and 7. Noble Peer is trained by Bart Cummings. It's by Sir Tristram from Putsey and was ridden by Harry White. Great win. Second, number 4, Astralin, a mighty run. It was second last. In fact, it was absolute last early, second last then for a long way, and it stormed home to run second. In comparison, Affinity, who was back with it, has only run fifth. And Affinity sometimes runs some disappointing races at Flemington. Looking back to the Melbourne Cup, he ran a shocker in that after winning the Caulfield Cup, and a very, very ordinary run here today. Follow the Light battled on to run fourth in the race. Kia Mare never on the track, and I Will, it was a very poor performance. It's finished in the last 3. The winner, No Peer, to pay $2.45 and $1.05. Second, number 4, Astralin, $2.10. And the third, number 7, Anchor, $3.20. Big run, Anchor, because honest to goodness, it looked as though it had run a race before they'd got to the start. And it's battled on very solidly to take the minor placing or third placing in the race, with Follow the Light being fourth and Affinity officially fifth. They've run 2 minutes, 1.5 seconds. 2 minutes, 1.5 seconds the time for the Australian Cup, numbers 11, 4 and 7. And we'll be back shortly with more information.
Now it's quarter past.
Factor shortly. 11 Noble Pier, 245 and 105. 4 Astral and 210. 7 Ankara, $3.20. Quinella, $23.50. Trifecta to follow.
Take dividends for Carlton United Breweries. Brewers of Melbourne, better nothing better.
As for Ampol, we take the opening.
And they're set, ready to go. Ready, racing. Viva Vane jumped out quickly down near the inside. Oh, Johnny was prominent too with Monarch Star, who's the fairest, heading them off. Solitaire Love's going forward with Richfield's Lad after the start. Dark Rhythm coming across with All Seeker. Settling fully into stride to the 1,000. Who's the fairest? A clear leader now. Viva Vane moved up second with Solitaire Love on the outside. Behind them was Monarch Star. Richfield's Lad going forward with All Seeker. They were followed then by Palm the Card. Dark Rhythms behind that leading pack in the white colours. And they're followed then wider on the track by Alien Prince. Coming towards the 500-metre mark now. The leader, Who's the Fairest, by about a length and a quarter. Monarch Star on the inside of Viva Vane. Solitaire Love the outside. They're followed wider on the track by All Seeker. Dark Rhythm looking for somewhere to go behind the pack. Banker's Choice putting himself into a 2 past the 400. Who's the Fairest being kept together. Viva Vane moved up on the outside to challenge with Richfield's Lad. Banker's Choice. Dark Rhythm's under the whip but in the clear now. Racing down to the 200-metre mark, and Banker's Choice moved up on the outside of Richfield's Lad to grab Who's the Fairest. Just behind them Viva Vane, but Richfield's Lad kicked away by 3 parts of a length. Banker's Choice. Richfield's Lad ridden hands and heels too strong, and Richfield's Lad wins by a half a length. Banker's Choice. Dark Rhythm 2.5 lengths away third. Then Viva Vane, Monarch Star, Who's the Fairest knocked up, and then Calenza. Oh Johnny next home, followed by Alien Prince, All Seeker, then Geno. Well back in the field is Solitaire Love, and the last one in was Palm the Card. 19.5. Pretty quick clip. And number 6 is the winner, Richfield's Lad, ridden by Greg Hall. A double to Greg Hall today. Comparatively easy win too at the finish, Graham.
Yes, he won very well. It's a pretty smart sprinter, Clem, Richfield Lad, and nicely in today with 53.5 kilos. Excellent last start, third to Mazorski at Moonee Valley, and went right on with that form.
Check the placings. Number 6, Richfield's Lad, ridden by Greg Hall, is first, trained by GR Ledger at Benalla by Soretto out of El Suri. Second, number 9, Banker's Choice, ridden by Michael Clark, tried valiantly, would fail by about a half a length at the finish. And third, the favourite, number 5, Dark Rhythm, ridden by Darren Gouch. He was behind a wall of horses, got clear in plenty of time. And the Dark Rhythm struggled to the line in third place. Fourth, number 7, Viva Vane, who was always in the first 3. And fifth was number 12, and that was Monarch Star, who was always handy as well.
Tonight, Donovan comes face to face.
Ready now. Gates crashed back and racing in the Callow Faulkner. First out, Appear to Remember. Great Actor commenced smartly too, with Reject with the red blinkers prominent. Kinzan behind them with Cromarty Bay, and then Woking. The Launceston Cup winner centre field Scruples. Perlek the grey on the outside for My Dulcinera out of the straight. Then Fancy Filly, Martian Sun, second last in the field to Juamio, and Fiery Diamond is the trailer. Into the back they run towards the 2,000. Appear to Remember showed the way by about 3 parts of a length. Moving up on the outside, Great Actor, and there's Kinzan inclined to pull third. Reject's up running 4-3 deep, but the rider Barrett allows him to slip forward. And Reject shortly afterwards, no pace on, glided to the lead and led by a length and a half, and immediately put the brakes on.